Alright, hello and welcome back to another V Rising video. So today we're going to be talking about Invaders of Oakveil. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Which is coming out now officially on April 28th, which is pretty crazy. I personally have like a V Rising server right now up, and it's going to expire on the 9th, and so I'm only going to get a couple of days in between to go from 1.0 to 1.1, which is going to be pretty insane. But yeah, we have a trailer here today, so we'll check it out, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the features that they have announced. And then I will be pausing this trailer, just so you know. Alright, so first off, we've got essentially here we've got this new shard boss. I think that's what people are assuming it's going to be. It'd be cool if there was another one as well, but I would be quite surprised. But they have mentioned that there will be multiple. There will be new V-Bud bosses and a shard boss, and so I'm thinking this is going to be the new shard boss. It's like a fey kind of snake lady. Yeah, we got this like fey snake lady thing going on here, which is pretty cool. I'm definitely a big fan of this. I think like my favorite zone in the game is the Cursed Forest, and so this seems pretty like reminiscent of the Cursed Forest. I think it's going to be kind of similar to that, maybe a little more purple, obviously, than the kind of like turquoise feel that the Cursed Forest has. It's got like a bluish kind of turquoise feel. And so yeah, we'll see how these new characters come in. It sounds like these the expansion, like for example 1.0 was just called 1.0. I don't think it actually had a name. I think it might have been like something along the lines of like Dracula or something. But before that, Secrets of Gloomrot, which was like 0, I can't remember the exact number, but it was the expansion right before like the original early access. And that was just about like the area of Gloomrot, whereas this sounds like this is about invaders of Oakveil, and that they're actually invading the zone. So who knows? We've been confirmed that we're going to get a new biome. It's going to be in the top left corner of the map. So it's going to be really cool to see how these characters interact with that biome. I think it would be really awesome if like these V-Bloods aren't necessarily a part of the biome, and instead they're like coming in and attacking. That would be like a new kind of like thing that V Rising hasn't really done yet. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself as well. So yeah, we got this photo now here of these 4 invaders, who I assume are like the henchmen of the snake lady, and we for sure had already seen the person here in the middle, the middle to the left with the big sword, and for the longest time I had been kind of like guessing that it was like some sort of necromancer thing, but now that I'm looking really closely with the snake necklace and then like the snake in the backdrop, it's pretty obvious that this new faction, or like this new type of enemies, they're going to be like very snake focused, which is really cool. I really like that as a concept. We can see here as well, with my mouse cursor I'm putting a circle over it. It's got a little like snake thing going on here top. I'm trying to see if anyone else has anything that I can really notice. Maybe the claws, I don't know, hard to say. We can see here as well that these weapons, some of them are different. We have been confirmed 3 new weapons in 1.1 update. The claws, the twin blade, and the throwing daggers, right? So we maybe once we kill this guy here, we might get the claws, because obviously he's got the claws. It'd be cool if claws was like an end game item. I feel like they might be really powerful as well in the long run. So yeah. So yeah, as you can see here, we've got the twin blade going as well. So pretty awesome. New area as well. Seems like part of it's foresty, and then moving forward it's more like purple. And so who knows, maybe it'll be like the whole forest will be purple, or maybe it'll be like certain elements, and then And then, oh, I'm taking a Garner here now. Maybe those certain elements are them invading the area and like turning it purple. That'd be super, super cool from a dynamic perspective. One thing I am really hoping for in this update that they didn't do in 1.0 is new zone for castles. I would absolutely love to have my castle in a new zone. I've been playing this game now for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and so I've had a castle in every zone so far. And I really like the snow area, but it's pretty small. It's like the smallest area in the game. And so having like a big area to have your castle and try different plots would be really cool. I think this is kind of reminiscent as well of Fairbane, the first area, with like the foresty area going on. I really like that first zone. So we'll see how it interacts. So yeah, as you see there, April 28th is the day. I usually expansions come out in May, and so it's pretty crazy to see that this is coming early. I would never have guessed that it would be coming early, just because they really went low on like content drops in the last little bit. There's only been like at one point there was like one dev blog within a 4-month span, and so I had been expecting in that situation that like what was happening is that they needed more time for the game, but it sounds like they're really have it at a good point, and if it's coming out on the 28th, I'm hoping to see how it does. Like so far in the past, every single V-Rising expansion has had a really good drop. No like super crazy bugs from what I've seen, and if there are, they're quickly fixed. It's not like a lot of other AAA games out there nowadays that like come out with new content and then just like it's just abhorrently bad at times. So cross your fingers that that's not the case and that I'm jinxing it, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the new things here offered. I also have a link to the article in Bloody Disgusting, which is a horror news article. They always just have like a lot of information specifically as well that's kind of helpful. So I brought up both, but we'll talk about the Stunlock blog first. So explored the Oakveil woodlands, a new forest biome of uncharted lands filled with deadly enemies, new bosses, and dark magic techniques waiting to be seized. So yeah, as it was mentioned before, we're going to get a new biome. It sounds like we're going to get, I think they have alluded to the fact that we might get a new spell class. I really hope it's like, technically we already have that purple spell class, the Chaos spell class, I think that's what it's called. It's like purple and pink. I guess it's more pink to be honest. You know what, I'll pull it up really quick just so I can give an example. Spell types. So yeah, we have a total of a couple different ones here, but yeah, the Chaos Magic spell class is the one I'm speaking of. It's got like a purple pinkish vibe. So I think it was alluded to as well that there might be like a lot of focus on summoning as well in this new expansion, which is the Unholy Magic spell where you can summon like skeletons and stuff. They've mentioned as well that you might be able to summon rats, which I think is really, really cool to see how that works. But I don't know. I'm not sure what the new spell school is going to look like. I would have expected it to be a completely different color than pinkish purple, just because obviously each spell school has like a color kind of vibe to it. Like Storm is yellow, Unholy is green, Frost is obviously blue. So who knows? Maybe this will be like a dark purple or something. And how it interacts, I'm not sure. Maybe it would be really cool if there was like an ultimate where you turn into like a snake or some sort of snake ultimate. With these shard bosses, they're essentially the shard bosses or the final bosses in the game. Once you kill a shard boss, you then get an ultimate for the shard boss. It used to be that you just would get the ultimate like beforehand, prior to 1.0, but then 1.0 came out and they made it so that like you essentially have 2 ultimates per spell school. So you can see here there's 1, 2 ultimates, and then once you kill a shard boss, you get a third new ultimate that you can use as I think it's like a gem that you can slot in, but take that with a grain of salt. But basically, you get a third ultimate. So I'm excited to see what this new spell school gets for their new ultimate. Alternatively, it could be that they're just don't actually have a spell school planned out, and they're just going to expand upon chaos magic with a new ultimate as well. So we'll see. But I would be surprised if they didn't have a new spell school. Castle, arena, and duels. Build a custom battle arena in your castle, set the rules, and engage in epic battles with friends, or challenge foes almost anywhere in the world with risk-free one-on-one duels. Okay, so this is massive. This is gonna really get people into PvP as well, which is something that I think I in a video recently mentioned that I just started to get into, and PvP. I have over 700 hours in this game, and there are things in PvP I didn't even know. It's like crazy how expansive PvP is. And so who knows, maybe if you want to see or hear a PvP video, I could put one out. I'm not very good at PvP in all honesty, but I'm getting there. So yeah, this new feature is going to be cool to see how we can interact with duels. It seems like the one-on-one duel aspect that they're talking about is going to be very similar to World of Warcraft duels, where you put down like a banner and then you fight each other. That seems to be the vibe they're going for with this. You know what? I'll pull up. I think they have a photo as well of what these duels are going to look like in specific. I think it's this blog here. Let's just do a quick scan. Yeah. So you can make like a duel area in your castle now, essentially, and you could have it in the basement or something. I think this is something as well they've been talking about, or I've heard rumors that there might be like a basement thing for castles. Every single expansion, they usually just put out like some small detailed castle upgrades. They don't really chat about them, they just kind of come out, which is cool. I really actually like that because it's always nice to get new additions to your castle. So it looks here like this is an underground layer, but who knows, maybe we'll get like some sort of I think the coolest thing would be like stairs that go down, because you can't do that currently. You can only go up, unless you're like super finicky with it and you figure out a way. But for the most part, they don't have like downward stairs. But yeah, we got a castle here. A person's like expanding out an area, an arena station as well, so you can choose like colors and stuff for what type of team you want to be on and so on and forth. We got a little battle going on as well. I've gone over these on some previous videos, but I'm just refreshing people's memory. A little like battle royale arena kind of thing going on as well, which is gonna be cool. I think that'll be interesting, especially because and this is something I'll talk about now as well. In PvP, there's different styles of gameplay. You can be like a zoner, or you can be aggro, where you're going in and stuff. Whereas this is gonna kind of make it so that zoners can't stay far away all the time, which is something I like to do. So this will be minimizing that. Yeah, new land biome. So we'll go back. I think, let me just double check. I think they had a photo here of what the banner is going to look like. Yeah, right here. So yeah, put down a banner, accept the challenge, 1v1 someone in the world. This is going to be great for PvE players who are a little scared of playing PvP because they don't want to lose all their stuff, but they still want to try just what PvP is like. And so yeah, I think this is going to be really cool. And then honest to God, now with the fact that there's there's 1v1 duels, and then there's also dungeons downstairs, PvP players can get away with playing PvE as well, right? It's just because you have so many options. If you want to play PvP but a little less risky, just play on a PvE server with these additional duel settings. But who knows, maybe they also just want to stay on PvP. Alright, 3 new weapons and 7 unique spells. We have 3 powerful new weapons: the claws, the twin blade, and the throwing daggers, each unlocking fresh combat strategies and unique playstyles to take down even the toughest foes. New spells are also on the horizon, 1 for each spell school, and 1 new ultimate ability tied to the newest legendary shard. So yeah, I mentioned that. It sounds here like we're getting new spells. They don't specify if it's going to be of a new spell school, but I would be surprised if it wasn't. One second, I'm just gonna take a drink of my beverage. Yeah, I'd be quite surprised if it wasn't from a new spell school. Just because Like, I guess they could add more spells to the spell tree, but it'd be getting pretty big. So here we'll pull up the devlog really quickly so I can show you guys what the weapons look like, just if you aren't familiar with what they look like currently. And then I can also just look a little bit into it. So we've got the new weapon here, the claws, which I mentioned in the newest devlog. Kind of werewolf kind of vibe to them, multiple attacks going on. And then this is probably the one I'm the most excited for, simply because people have been asking for this weapon forever, especially because people want to run like a werewolf kind of build. And you can see here with the hair and then like the armor and stuff, it's very reminiscent of a werewolf, despite the fact that you're playing a vampire game. New weapon, a little more elegant. This is the one you saw in right here, the twin blade. This is the new one as well that they're advertising. Which is a pretty speedy kind of weapon that's going on. You've got a jump and a bring in and a bring out, which is pretty cool, and then like a knockback as well. And finally, I think this is the one I am most excited for, or to be honest, it's hard to say either this or the claws. I think, though, it's hard to, like, the last update, my favorite weapon was the longbow. I really like the longbow, and I think in the last update, I just used a longbow, just because like I barely used the whip because I wasn't a huge fan of the whip, even though the whip is like probably the best weapon in the game. But the longbow for me is just the playstyle that I really enjoyed. Whereas all three of these weapons, like they're all really cool, but none of them really like stand out so much to me that I'd want to pick one over the other. So who knows? Maybe I'll try all three. But this has a really cool kind of purple effect going on, which is might be reminiscent of the new spell school that they might potentially be doing. Who knows, maybe it will, these weapons will kind of combat together with the new purple spell school, but these are obviously the throwing daggers, which you can use in your primary attacks. You can rain them down as well, like a jump attack, and then finally your EO, you like pull them back out. I think visually, like out of all the weapons so far, they may not look like the coolest weapons per se, but they do have the coolest like overall like ambient effects. And then also we got to take into account these are what they're showing us right now are likely just like the low level throwing daggers, right? Like obviously this twin blade as well, it could just be like an iron twin blade. It doesn't. I think it will be an iron twin blade because we're seeing a Q and an E, and I'm pretty sure it's either iron or a couple leagues higher, where you get both the Q and an E. But who knows? It'll be cool to see like what these legendary weapons look like. I think I very briefly showed the legendary knives in my previous video, so if you want to check those out, I have like a leaked photo that you can check out in that video. So yeah, these are the three weapons that are coming, so that's really cool. Fuse and reforge, no longer do you need to wait to get the perfect drop. Fuse your weapons or jewels to make your ideal equipment. Don't wait to get lucky, make your own luck. So they went over this in a previous devlog, but I'll pull it up as well. The Fusion Forge, which I think was in 27, back in November. It's crazy that it was that long ago. So yeah, you can see here, you can essentially now choose the things that you're going for, rather than having to like constantly farm for a new weapon. You can choose what types of effects you want additionally with your different attributes as well, right? Pretty cool. Improved combat, V-Rising's biggest combat overhaul yet is here. With a deep stat rework, rebalanced gear, completely overhauled blood types, and powerful new customization tools, your vampire's path to dominance is truly in your hands. This is a scary one, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to be exciting to see it because, like, at this point, V-Rising combat has changed a little bit every expansion, but I think even 1.0, I noticed like there was a pretty big gap change in combat going from Gloomrot into 1.0, and even then, that they didn't mention that there's going to be a massive change, whereas now they're saying there's going to be a massive change. So we'll see how combat is. I think they're mostly adjusted stats and stuff, but even then, stats have like a pretty big, they have a pretty big impact on overall combat in the game. Alright, new castle features and cosmetics. Expand your dark dominion with new cosmetics and quality of life features to shape your ultimate vampire sanctuary. So yeah, this is super dope. We're going to see some new castle things going on. I'm trying to see if there's anything here about castle features. This is what the new faction is going to look like as well. Now we know that this guy here, he's not in the video from the V-Bloods, I don't think. Let me double check. Where are they? Right here. No, he's too scrawny to be the big guy. So yeah, new faction, very snake focused. That's going to be the vibe for the faction. Purple kind of vibes. Likely the Necromancer. What's her name? I'm going to pull up the V-Bloods right now really quickly. V-Blood, V-Rising. I think it's Maja. No, it's not Maja. That's the book person. One of the bosses in the farmlands, Dunley farmlands, in Act 2, Leandra, that's her, the Shadow Priestess. She is from, I'm getting so many ads right now, Jesus. She is from the Church of the Damned, and let me see if there's anything talking about her. There are few creatures on the face of Vardaran as ancient as Leandra, mysterious and surrounded with shadow magic and a death. It is said that when Dracula fell and the poisonous blood rains soaked Vardaran, she stood willingly in the deadly downpour. Some say she embraced the dark power that corruption made it her own. Today she serves as high priestess of the cult of the damned. So she's like a shadow magic kind of purple thing, and I think for a while it was assumed that there would be a connection between Leandra and this faction here. I still think there is a good chance that might still be the case, but we'll see, right? She is the high priestess of the cult of the damned. So is the cult of the damned, is that the faction we're fighting here? Hard to say. Let me pull up, see if there's any more information on the cult of the damned. So we got the lore page here. Cult of the damned. 4.1. So, an obscure faction of necromancers mentioned in some V-Blood carriers' descriptions. They were related to the undead that roam Vardaran. According to the description of Bane, the Shadowblade, they are the ones behind the corruption of the Iron Mine in Dunley farmlands. So yeah, we got a whole little lore section here for the Cult of the Damned. I find the V-Rising lore is actually super fascinating because we get them through the V-Bloods themselves. So who knows, maybe one of these days I'll put out a video just talking about the lore of V-Rising. That would be pretty cool overall, right? But yeah, we'll see if this new faction is going to be the Cult of the Damned, or if it'll be something different. But obviously it's something involving snakes, snakes and necromancy. I could see that being a combo, right? Anyways, thank you for checking in for this video. There will be more V-Rising content around the corner, especially with new Triple I initiative coming out, showing stuff, so I'll have a video for that for sure, and some more content as well down the line. Thank you very much. Have a good day.